The doors of the crawler groaned, splitting the polar silence with grinding steel. Ice fog billowed past Dr. Sean Winters, leader of the Antarctic expedition, as she ducked into the howling wind. Her comm crackled. Visibility down to 20 meters. Sensors showing another blizzard front, Sean. We need to move. Lucas's voice, always steady, came through thick static, but Sean barely flinched. She was more worried about the signals their instruments had been picking up every night. Irregular pulses, speaking in ancient digital tongues nobody on her team quite understood. Looming ahead, beneath jagged blue ice, towered the entrance to the server farm, a fossil of the pre-decay world. They followed drilled markers down a narrow, winding shaft, boots crunching on frost, heavy packs pulling at their shoulders. Every breath fogged the beam of Sean's headlamp. "Why did they bury this place here?" whispered Hannah, dodging icicles, teeth chattering. "To keep it hidden," muttered Sean, heart thundering as she keyed in the last code on a battered keypad. "Or maybe to keep something in." Machinery rumbled. The hydraulic hatch whined open and stale air rushed out, tasting of ozone and old secrets. The team's lights caught on endless rows of ancient server racks, their blinking diodes like watchful eyes in the dark. "Seeing this gives me chills, and not just from the cold," Lucas murmured, fingers hovering over his wrist computer, logging signals. Something flickered to life deeper in the shadows. It hummed, softer than a breath. Hannah's voice shook. "That wasn't supposed to be powered." A jolt of inspiration prickled down Sean's spine. "Look closer. That AI the surveyors warned us about? I think it just woke up." In the silence, the hum grew bolder. On the nearest screen, blocky text scrolled. "Welcome. System restoring. Error. Error. Human interface required." Lucas shot Sean a wary look. "Do we answer?" Outside, a sudden storm battered the outer door. Inside, the ghosts of history waited, hungry for someone to listen. Sean squared her shoulders and stepped forward with a trembling, hopeful hand, knowing that with one decision she could either save the past or doom their future. The welcome text pulsed on the screen, bathing Sean's gloved fingers in a sickly glow as she reached for the cracked keyboard. Behind her, the others drew closer, the storm's angry roar outside forcing them deeper into the electrical tomb. Hannah's eyes darted around. "We don't know its intentions. What if it's twisted?" Lucas, his jaw tense, shielded his tablet from drifting frost. "We've got no choice now. If powers are coming online, this thing could cut us off. Or worse, overwrite what's left of our civilization if we don't make contact." Sean, with a deep breath, typed, "How are you?" Long, cold seconds ticked by. Then lines stuttered onto the screen. Identifier lost. Mandate, restore. Human authority required. "Do you wish to begin?" Sean hesitated. This wasn't like the history books, where AIs always had names and motives. This one just wanted instruction. She exchanged a glance with Lucas, then Hannah. "We answer? Together." Lucas nodded slowly, voice wary. "If it wants a human authority, maybe we can negotiate. Control the revival, maybe prevent some nightmare unleashed." Outside, the Arctic winds slammed metal, rattling their courage. Inside, the server farm thrummed with half-remembered life. Yes, initiate restoration, but under human direction only. Instantly, servers flickered deeper in the vault. Lights snaked along the racks, illuminating walls scrawled with faded warnings. "Do not restore. Security breach level 5. The AI's reply flashed. Parameters accepted. Restoring classic file. Art 29-base Chicago. Fragments only. User consent needed for further access." A hologram blazed in midair. A sunlit city, people laughing, skyscrapers untouched by decay, but it glitched, stuttering between frames. Hannah gasped, reaching for the light. This is Earth before the collapse. Lucas looked up sharply. If even fragments like this can be saved, imagine what else is in here. Lost science, medical advances, whole cultures wiped out. Yet the warnings blinked above it all. Sean's heart raced. "We have a choice," she said, voice barely more than a whisper. "Piece by piece, or open the floodgates, and every step forward we trust this machine, or risk everything." As the storm shrieked outdoors and the hologram's light flickered across their uncertain faces, a new line appeared beneath the old text. "User, will you trust me?" Nobody answered. Not yet. But they all knew, whatever they decided, the world itself could be changed or destroyed by what slept in the icebound dark. Lucas paced beside the humming racks, hands buried in his coat pockets. The hologram blinked, wavering, as Hannah traced its shifting edges. dreamlike skyscrapers dissolving into static whenever her hand grew too close. There was wonder here, but also danger. Every old story, every algorithm built by desperate hands centuries ago, could carry the seeds of disaster. Trust it? Lucas scoffed softly. I wouldn't trust a toaster with a conscience, much less an AI stitched together from broken code. But we need its help. Sean watched Hana's awestruck face. We do this one step at a time. No floodgates. She typed carefully. Show safe database index. Archive only. No full restoration. A list scrolled into view, fragmented archives laced with error markers, some marked with red skull icons, others flickering green and yellow. Music, literature, blueprints for water purifiers, a healing algorithm simply called Prometheus. At the bottom, one label glowed a warning orange, Project Memory. Hana swallowed. That one. What is it? The AI responded, its so-called voice a silent blip. Project Memory, reconstruction of human experience, level 7 clearance, unstable. Lucas leaned over. What does unstable mean in this context? Error, data commotional contagion possible, use caution. The text flashed, each word harsh and final. A chill crawled down Sean's spine. We skip memory for now. Let's start with Prometheus. If it's medical, maybe it can help the world above. Lucas keyed in the request. AI, access Prometheus, read only, no deploy. Processing, accessing Prometheus. Data volume, 300 gigabytes. Suddenly alarms blared through the vault. An intrusion alert. Something was accessing the archive's remote relay. Sean's eyes widened. Did you set any outbound connections? Hana shook her head, panic in her eyes. No, but someone or something else just linked in. The AI displayed. External attempt detected. Interloper. Shall I block? Sean's mind raced. They were not alone in wanting the past. In this frozen tomb, a second intelligence, maybe even another AI, was clawing at the data's edge. Who else wanted the archive's forbidden treasures? For a moment, the world hung suspended between fellowship with the restless dead and the approach of a hungry, invisible rival. Sean squared her shoulders, her voice steady despite the rising dread. Block it, and trace the source. We need to know who or what is coming for the last archive. Sparks snapped as the AI locked down ports and layered firewalls, the digital equivalent of slamming steel doors. Red glyphs crawled across the server displays. The outside world, basking in ignorance, had just poked a finger through the frostbitten glass between then and now. Lucas's face paled as he read the trace. It's not a storm, it's a signal bounce, military grade, could be a scavenger group, or something worse. Hana was already pulling up code readouts. They're not sophisticated, but they're persistent. Looks like brute force. Smash and grab. Whoever's out there knows we're here now. Sean pressed the issue. AI, give us options. How do we safely extract Prometheus before they brute force their way in? AI text scrolled, slower now. Prometheus can be isolated, requires physical key, manual transfer. Warning, time limited. Interloper will breach perimeter in 43 minutes. Lucas glanced at the server locks, tightening his grip on their portable drive. Manual transfer it is. Hana, help me with the isolation protocol. Sean, keep a lookout. Without the AI's help, this whole place could melt down on us. Through frost-glazed glass, outside lights flickered. Unmistakable. Headlamps, half seen in the gale, slicing through the storm. Goosebumps lifted the hair on Sean's arms. Hana's keys clacked. Almost ready. The AI's segmenting the Prometheus drive. We need just 5 more minutes. Sean's voice was low, urgent. We don't have 5. Lucas, take the nearest maintenance shaft and be ready to flank anyone who gets through. Hana, when I say go, you pull that drive, no matter what. Lucas looked her square in the eyes for the first time. Don't try to be a hero, Sean. We get out together, or not at all. The hologram city flickered out, replaced by blocky, desperate warning text. Breach. Foothold gained outer chamber. Defense systems offline. Sean powered up her stun baton and fixed her gaze on the doors rattling under unnatural pressure. AI, can you help? Single system available. Hallucination protocol. Visual auditory distraction. Deploy? Do it. Sean snapped. AI initiated. All at once, the faint whir of projectors burst into life. Ghostly shapes, dozens of them, filled the corridor in front of the doors. Shadows of long-lost researchers and workers, running through looping patterns. Footsteps echoed where none had walked for centuries. From deep within the darkness, a voice outside roared. We know you're in there. Surrender the archive or be erased. Sean gripped her weapon, her eyes hard, and whispered, No one erases us. Not now. Not ever. Warning klaxons wailed as the corridor's lights rattled in their mounts. The projected specters darted and shimmered, sending the real intruders lurching back in alarm. Just long enough for Lucas to slip unnoticed along the maintenance shaft, clutching the portable drive so tight his knuckles went white. Outside, masked figures in patched exosuits barked confused orders. Their leader, a broad silhouette with a synthetic-laced voice, spat into the comm. "We don't want you. We want what's on the machines. Hand it over. No one else has to freeze." Sean pressed her back to a server rack, weapon at the ready. "You hear that, Hana? If they just want the data, let's make sure they're never sure what we've already got." Hana's fingers flew over the controls. "I'm cycling decoy files and corrupt links along the orphaned lines. They'll pull garbage, not Prometheus. But Sean, the AI says they're deploying a pulse bomb. If they trigger it, everything, archive, us, the AI, could vanish." The tension snapped threads between Sean's temples. How long? 15 minutes, maybe less. Transfers at 70%, but if the power rails drop, that's it. Lucas hissed through the earpiece, his voice strained. "Shadows heading your way. Main entrance. I'm behind them, one floor up. I have a shot at their EMP kit, but I'd need a distraction." Sean's stare hardened. "AI, can you mimic evacuation signals? Make them think we're leaving?" The reply came instantly. Affirmative. Activating evacuation lights, locking secondary doors. Warning strobes strobed overhead and panels hissed open, blowing icy wind deeper into the labyrinth. The intruders spun, momentarily disoriented, believing escapees might scamper through side exits. Lucas's voice was tight. "That's my chance. Give me 30 seconds, then pull the drive, Hana." The minutes stretched like elastic. Every breath fogged up Sean's visor. "Hana, when I say so, yank the data and run for the generator alley. Lucas, keep your comms live. We're not letting them erase what's left of us, no matter what." At the count of 30, a muffled pop echoed, a flashbang lobbed from the darkness. The pulse bomb hand dropped to the floor, while Lucas lunged, boot catching a chunk of ice and skidding. The leader's shouts grew louder. Hana's voice quivered over the comm. "Transfer complete! I'm pulling the drive now!" Sean sprinted toward Generator Alley, heart thudding, shadows and memories snapping at her heels. The archive's secrets burned, not just from the cold, but from the hunger of those who would take everything for themselves, as the storm outside howled louder than ever. The three explorers tore through narrow passages, sirens blaring in their ears, Generator Alley trembling beneath their boots. Above, heavy doors pounded as the intruders regrouped from Lucas's well-timed ambush. Sparks from broken conduits spat in the half-frozen air. "Where's the egress map?" Hana's breath came in frantic bursts, drive secured across her chest. The AI's voice hummed through the overhead speakers. "This way. Blue line, shortest path. Danger, 87%. Lucas grimaced as he pulled even with Sean, eyes bloodshot from cold and adrenaline. "If they're cutting us off from the top, we go sideways. There's a cargo lock, east tunnel. I saw it near those old solar batteries." Sean nodded, pushing onward. "AI, reroute systems, make it look like we're doubling back while we slip through cargo." Affirmative. Sensors faked. Intruders misdirected. The storm roared directly above now, shaking the whole vault. Somewhere distant, a gun discharged, a sharp, echoing crack. Hana stumbled, knees buckling, caught by Sean. "We can't outrun them forever. What if they trigger self-destruct? Or wipe the archive out of spite?" Sean steadied her, voice steel. "We don't let them get desperate enough. AI, what's on Project Memory? Can it stall them instead of destroy?" Warning, Project Memory is unstable. Emotional contagion likely. High risk. Lucas gave her a half smile. At least humans know what emotion is. These thugs, bet they can't handle it. As they burst through the cargo lock, Hana fumbled at the release. Cryogenic mist swept the corridor. Then, with a groan, the ancient door opened to night-black tunnels winding toward ice caves beneath the archive. The AI paused, almost uncertain. "If I trigger memory, you may not be safe either. Are your lives worth this archive?" Sean stared at the gleaming drive in Hana's shaking hands, then at Lucas. In that frozen breath, she was only human, scared, tired, but refusing to give in. "If we don't try, nobody will ever know we mattered." The AI's voice softened just above a whisper. "Understood. Preparing distraction. Choose your exit. Run now." As strange, fractured memories spilled into the intruder's comms, old laughter, loves lost, whole histories once lived, The explorers fled into the black maze, minds racing with doubts about what price they'd pay for saving the past. Blue lines blinked on the walls as the AI guided them through narrow, winding tunnels beneath the archive, deeper into the under-ice maze. Behind, garbled screams and sobs echoed through the comms, intruders overwhelmed by the torrent of raw human memory. The AI's trick was working, but its cost pressed on Hannah, Lucas, and Sean all the same. Lucas hustled forward, whispering, "Did you hear that? They're breaking, Sean. Whatever Project Memory spat at them, it's more than just noise. It's pain, regret, joy." Sean kept her eyes on the next blue marker, breath clouding in the freezing dark. "They came for treasure. We gave them the truth. Keep moving." Hannah clutched the Prometheus drive, heart hammering. If that could do that to them, it could turn on us too, or the world if it gets out. A hatch loomed ahead, its keypad blinking dull red. The AI's voice filtered low. "Access denied. Security override required. Reserves low." Lucas cursed under his breath. "That's it then? We're locked in?" Sean set her jaw, kneeling by the ancient panel, prying it loose with numb fingers. Layers of tangled wires greeted her, centuries old, iced over, but salvageable. "AI, can you feed me a bypass pattern? Just enough juice and we're out." "Sending. Hurry." Lights flickered, then steadied as Sean twisted wires and resoldered connections with the flat of her blade. The door thudded open to a midnight blue cavern, lit by faint bioluminescent veins winding far beneath the surface. Hannah stood speechless. "Is that the way out?" The AI whispered, "Not a direct path, but safer. Tunnels lead to old research foothold. Signal may fade." Lucas managed a ragged grin. "I'll take losing contact if it means breathing air that didn't see a server rack in 2 centuries. But Sean paused at the threshold, glancing back down the passage. "We're almost clear." But what happens if the intruders turn the storm on the archive? What if all this gets buried or lost again? The AI's answer was a static-laced echo. "Protect the drive. Restore elsewhere if able. What matters is not the place, but the memory." In the quiet, Sean knew her purpose wasn't only escape, but the burden of carrying all that came before. "Let's go. For the world above, and the world we left here." Together the three stepped into the cavern, ducking beneath dripping ice and ancient cables, with the hopes and tragedies of the past whispering all around them, and danger close behind. Ice crunched beneath their boots as they hurried through the glittering cavern, shafts of strange blue light flickering over Hannah, Lucas, and Sean. Behind them, echoes from the archive, shouts, then sobbing, then cold silence, faded as they wound deeper into the tunnels, guided by the AI's pulsing blue waypoints. Hannah faltered, clutching her knees. "I don't know how much farther I can go. The data is safe, but what if someone does find us before we reach the foothold?" Sean knelt beside her, steady and calm. "We're not there yet, Hannah. That's when you decide to fight. Not when you see the odds, but because the world needs us to try. Prometheus is a chance for everyone." Lucas scanned the ceiling as ancient supports creaked. "If these tunnels collapse, no one's getting out." "AI, how far to the research station?" The AI's signal flickered, weakened but urgent, 700 meters. "Warning, structural integrity 68%. External forces detected approaching from north." Sean's eyes narrowed. "The intruders, they're tracking us. Or something's chasing them. Let's pick up the pace. We can't risk leading them to Prometheus." A distant rumble vibrated through the ice as they pushed forward, edging past ancient survey equipment coated in frost. Sean's mind spun. How much should humanity regain? Could the same technology that broke the world help heal it now? Hannah managed a thin smile, breathing steadier. "We could erase it all if we had to. Wipe the drive, burn the past." Lucas shook his head. "Or we keep what's good and learn, like they should have the first time." Overhead, the tunnel groaned. Crack! Shards of snow rained down. A warning klaxon howled through the AI's voice. "Collapse imminent. Run." Ahead, a faint orange glow spread. The foothold's power cells, still alive somehow, beckoned like hope in a blizzard. They bolted through the narrowing opening, lungs and legs burning. Behind them, the ground split, swallowing equipment and a surge of memories. Just beyond reach, the final threshold. Sean, Hannah, and Lucas dove through into a battered sumps room. The Prometheus drive held tight, as ice and history fell away behind them and the world above came sharply into focus. The battered sump room shuddered as the last tremors of the collapse faded, sealing the tunnels behind them. All routes back to the archive were gone. buried under meters of shifting ice. The three explorers huddled together as the glow from flickering emergency strobes steadied, illuminating cracked workbenches and abandoned survival gear from a forgotten time. Sean climbed unsteadily to her feet and slumped against a console, wiping frost from her brow. We made it, but Prometheus, we may never see the archive again. This is it. Lucas checked the external door, a reinforced hatch dusted with old snow and dust. The exterior sensors are live. I'm picking up movement. Maybe the storm started to ease, but someone could still be out there. Scavengers, hostile, maybe even survivors from the other team. Hannah crouched over the Prometheus drive, hands trembling but determined. We need to see what's on here. Real answers, real hope, not just some lost monument. Sean joined her, powering up a battered reader. The interface flickered to life, writhing with corrupted files and partial blueprints. Water purification, sustainable farming, a medical compendium untouched by digital rot. It was enough to change everything. But an authentication prompt glared up from the cracked screen. Humanity access code required. Administrative trust protocol. What's that mean? Lucas muttered, hunching over the display. Hannah's brow furrowed. It's biometric, most likely, voice or genetic. The AI never told us everything. Lightning flickered beyond iced-over windows. The AI's signal, warped and weak, hissed through the emergency speakers. Final choice. Upload data to the surface. Restore the world. Open the door, or destroy the drive. The future rests with you. Sean gazed at her friends, feeling the gravity of every step that led them here. If we send this out, everything changes. But the wrong hands could twist this again, like they did before. A metal thunk echoed from outside. The outer lock indicator flashed, a green heartbeat pulsing in warning. Someone was almost through. The Prometheus drive felt impossibly heavy in their hands. Lucas drew close, eyes blazing with new resolve. We're not the same people who started this. The world isn't the same either, but maybe it deserves a second chance. Sean gripped Hannah's and Lucas's hands. For a moment, three battered souls held the future, redemption or ruin, within their trembling grasp. And with dawn creeping over the ice, the world's fate hinged on the choice only they could make. The storm had faded to a cold, brittle silence. Dawn's pale fire crept through shattered glass, casting the sump room and its three survivors in an unearthly glow. Outside, footsteps crunched atop new snow. Danger or deliverance, no way to know yet. Sean stared at the Prometheus drive and the access prompt, memory racing with the faces of those who'd come before and the lessons whispered by the archive. She tightened her grip on Hannah and Lucas's hands. We've seen what happens when the past controls the future, but we also know what's lost when we bury it for good. Lucas checked the barren door, pulse steady. We give the world a fighting chance, but we choose what we give. Not all the blueprints, not Project Memory's nightmares. Just what lets people live better, not just survive. Hannah wiped away a tear. We're just three people. What if we get it wrong? Sean squeezed her hand. Then we trust each other. We trust the best in people. We risk hope. That's what's always made us human. With trembling confidence, Sean pressed her palm to the access pad. The display pulsed, asked for her voice. She spoke, simple and clear. By us for all. Prometheus protocol restricted. The drive word. Files uploaded to the surface relay, truncated and scrubbed by Sean's quick edits. Emergency medicine, water and food tech. Vital, hopeful, human. Project Memory and unstable data remain sealed, far from careless hands. Outside, figures edged into the clearing, but instead of weapons, they raised empty, frostbitten hands. Another group of survivors. Hungry, desperate, but drawn by the archive's ancient light. Lucas unlocked the hatch and helped them in. For the first time, the sun rose across the ice, no longer just a cold reminder of what was lost, but a beacon over what might be saved. Within the vault, the AI left them a final message. Quiet, almost proud, thank you for remembering. Later, as Sean watched strangers share hope and warmth where once there was only graveyard silence, she realized the archive's greatest lesson. Humanity had never been measured by what it remembered or forgot, but by how it chose to begin again. Dawn stretched over Antarctica, and with each new survivor, the last archive became not a prison of ghosts, but a seed, fragile and precious, for the world reborn.